Hello, it's Jim Hutchens for the Jerusalem Connection Spot Report for this week. Last week I spoke to you of the prophecy, the message that was left by an Orthodox rabbi named Yitzhak Kaduri. His story is told, incidentally, in Carl Gallup's best-selling book, The Rabbi Who Found Messiah. It's an intriguing read, fascinating. I would certainly encourage you to get it. But the Rabbi Who Found Messiah has reference to Rabbi Kaduri, who before his death wrote out a message, and he said that the message should be read a year after he had died. Well, he died in 2006, and when a year later the message was opened, and it was the Christian world, the Orthodox Jewish world, was shocked at what he said. He said he had had visions of the Messiah, and that the Messiah had revealed his name to him, and that name is Yehoshua, which is Hebrew for Jesus. Now, of course, Christians have felt that for millennia, but that was a significant step, a statement for an Orthodox rabbi to say. The next thing, the other thing that was very prominent in that, he said that the Prime Minister Ariel Sharon, who was living at that time, that he would, the Messiah would not be revealed until Sharon had died. Well, this past Saturday, past Shabbat, Sharon passed. And he was an unusual man. Let me just read you quickly what the Jerusalem Post said, an editorial over him. He said, when Ariel Sharon died on Saturday, the state of Israel lost one of its most charismatic and colorful and influential figures in its annals. One who throughout any and all stages of his career never ceased stirring tempests of rancorous controversy. Nonetheless, even if grudgingly, affection was always reserved for him as an authentic native son, a generic sabra, and a popular hero, one who was always called by his nickname Arik. Ariel means lion in Hebrew, and he was a lion in many respects. He was one of Israel's most prominent, most decisive, certainly, prime ministers, but he was also a brilliant military strategist. And it's my understanding that he was, unless been replaced recently, he was the most decorated Israeli soldier in the modern history of the Israeli army. But I've got kind of a personal remembrance of Sharon. I say personal, I was a part of a group, but in May of 2005, and I think that's the date, don't hold me to it, I think it was May 2005, Sharon came to Washington with the express purpose, we were told that was for this purpose, that he wanted to meet with grassroots evangelical leaders, the ones who were in contact with the evangelical pro-Israel world. And he came to Washington, and he wanted to explain to us why he was pulling out, having a unilateral withdrawal from Gaza. He did that in 2005. And he knew that evangelicals were not supportive of that, primarily because of biblical reasons. God's covenant promises that this land belonged to the Jews, deeded to the Jews by covenant. But he wanted us to know his heart as to why he was doing this. Wasn't trying to change our mind, but he wanted us to know his heart. And we sensed his heart when he said, basically, that he was doing this primarily because he wanted the world and the Palestinians to see a gesture, an unmistakable gesture of goodwill toward Israel's deep desire to have a peace plan with Palestinians. Well, we know that never happened. As a matter of fact, it was a colossal mistake on the part of Sharon. The Palestinians viewed it as an act of weakness. Hamas was elected, and Israel's been fighting jihadists out of Gaza ever since. The rest is history. But what impressed me most was the fact that he had come to evangelicals. He wasn't wanting our support for the decision, but he was asking that we would continue to stand strong in support of Israel. And why? Because he knew that the strongest support for Israel and the Jewish people on this planet are Christian Zionist evangelicals. And they will remain so, primarily because of what God has said in the Scriptures. So he made a valiant effort toward this. It was a failed effort. But he came here, and I was impressed with that he wanted us to know the reason why he was doing this, and he was at the same time encouraging us to stand strong for Israel. I'm certain that goal has been accomplished. As a former board member of the National Association of Evangelicals, we recognized that we represented some 80+ million evangelicals in this country. And I've felt conservatively that over half of those people are pro-Israel, and they will remain pro-Israel. So his goal was accomplished in that sense in coming in, and we appreciated that very, very much on his part. Matter of fact, Prime Minister Netanyahu is now engaged in peace negotiations with Secretary of State Kerry over portions of Judea and Samaria. I would suggest that he did that he would do what Sharon did and come to it. Not that we're the deciding factor, but he needs to know where his support is and to be absolutely certain of that. That will continue. On this planet, there are no stronger supporters of Israel and the Jewish people than Christian Zionist evangelicals. You can bank on that. Israel can bank on that. Till next week, Od Ki Yavo Shiloh, or until Messiah comes, Yivaraka Yahweh. Yahweh bless you and yours.